Oh, brats, hot dogs, hamburgers, your favorite beverage. It's a nice night to grill out. Even better to come inside Miller Park and watch the Astros and Brewers game 2. We've got coverage right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin as the Brewers try to keep their winning ways against their National League Central Division foe going. Corey Hart and company, 10 straight wins dating back to last year against the Houston Astros, including last night's 6-5 win. Out on the hill tonight for Milwaukee, Randy Wolf still looking for his first win of the season. The Astros, though, couldn't beat him a year ago, and he hopes to continue that dominance. Bud Norris on the mound the last time the Astros beat the Brewers. That was way back on May 1st, a year ago. We welcome you to the broadcast. Greg Kashan and Jerry Augustine as we get you closer to first pitch. And boy, game 1 of the series, you couldn't write a better script for how to play Brewer baseball than what Milwaukee was able to do. They hand the ball off to Zach Greinke. They get the offense from Ryan Braun and then let their closers go to work, Jerry. It was outstanding.
Oh, just a great night for Brewer baseball. You look at Zach Greinke last time, got himself in trouble at times, but made some great pitches to pitch out of it. All night long when he comes into Milwaukee, he makes that great pitch when he has to. You got Ryan Braun making that adjustment. Last night, it was really great to see Ryan Braun use the whole field, spreading the ball around, being relaxed at the plate, hitting those good pitches, and driving the ball out of the ballpark. And then it's the intensity at the end of the ball game. What not better did you see from K-Rod and Axe last night? You see K-Rod coming in the game with that intensity, making the great pitches, and Axford coming in late in the ball game, throwing up that 98 mile an hour fastball. We haven't seen that too much.
Brewers win it last night, and Houston has problems. They can't seem to beat the Brewer Crew. Will a 10-game win streak become 11 for Milwaukee here on this Tuesday night? BN Rock. Let us know when we come back.
Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota, when you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Tuesday night, the Brewers and the Astros, and Ryan Braun had a big night last night. A home run, a double, scored twice, drove in a couple of runs, and the Brewers picking up a big win against the Houston Astros. And hi, everybody, alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us from beautiful Miller Park. Brewers trying to make it 2 in a row against Houston here, and they're hoping to secure a winning homestand. And now you're looking at the way the Brewers have gone so far, and as their offense goes, you know it's going to be Ryan Braun as the focal point. And last night, he started to break out of it a little bit.
He had 4 straight games without a base hit. That's unheard of around here in Milwaukee. And you look at Brian's batting average right now at .288. Around that time that he was struggling against the Dodgers, he was a bit under the weather, but he's just too good of a hitter to have that last very long. On Saturday, he really broke out against the Rockies. He shows you the kind of hitter that he is, hitting to all fields, hitting good pitches. Not many hitters can do that. I mean, good pitches, and when they make a mistake, he knocks the ball out of the ballpark. He's one of the best in the game.
Now, Braun has had great success against the Houston Astros in 71 career games. Braun, a .351 hitter with 23 homers and 68 runs batted in. Only better numbers against the Pittsburgh Pirates, so he was welcoming the Astros to town. Can Braun and the Brewers keep it going? And Randy Wolf, the Howler, is on the mound, the former Astro. Game 2, Brewers-Astros. The lineups in the first pitch coming up next. And here we go, Brewers baseball, as Ryan Braun and the Milwaukee Brewers taking on the Astros. They've won 10 straight games, and that matches the longest active streak. Tigers and the Indians also at 10 games. There's Brad Mills, skipper of the Houston Astros, and the Stros come in with a record of 6-11 in a rebuilding process here, but we saw some talent in their batting order last night, and Mills is bringing his Astros club here with jobs on the line. Brad Mills in final year of his contract as the Brewers skipper. Here's the Piggly Wiggly batting order. Jordan Schaefer, Jed Lowry, and J.D. Martinez at the top. Carlos Lee, Brian Bogusevic, Jose Altuve in the middle of the order, and then Chris Snyder, Marwin Gonzalez, and Bud Norris. That's the lineup that will face Randy Wolf, who has gone to the Nyjer Morgan look, trying to break a pitcher slump in his first 3 starts. He's got the pant legs pulled up to the knees.
Yeah, he's given up 12 earned runs in his last 10 and a third innings. Very unlike Randy Wolf, looking for a bounce back here tonight.
Jordan Schaefer bounces out, and a ground out to start it for Randy Wolf. Here is the defense for the Brewers, brought to you by Menards, with Braun, Morgan, and Hart in the outfield. The infield is Ramirez, Gonzalez, Weeks, and Ishikawa. And behind the plate, George Kataris. Matt Gamble out of the lineup tonight after that collision. And the numbers on Randy Wolf this season. Start number 4 and looking for a turnaround here this evening, Rock.
He's had really good success against the Astros in his career. 8-5 with an ERA under 3 and 19 starts. Very good last year. 2-0 in 3 starts. He'd only allowed 2 earned runs in 22 innings of work.
Now Wolf has great numbers in his career, especially his last 6 against the Houston Astros, a team he used to pitch for. 4-0 record, a 1.08 ERA in his last 6 games against Houston. Had a couple of wins last year versus the Astros and an ERA under 1 in his 3 starts. Well, Jed Lowry, the switch hitting shortstop for the Astros. Lowry sends one out to Nyjer Morgan in center field. And Randy Wolf has retired the first 2. The Farmers Report Card. We're talking about the numbers for Randy Wolf. And a team that he has had a lot of success against. And those are the numbers from his last 6. I mean, that's about as good as you can do it. This covers a couple of years. And all of these starts as a member of the Brewers for Randy Wolf. Here's J.D. Martinez, Houston's 3-hole hitter. Martinez comes in with a batting average of .288, has 3 home runs and 14 RBIs. He's been very productive for the Astros. Rob Drake behind the plate tonight. Joe West, Sam Holbrook, and Andy Fletcher on the bases. Martinez was hitless last night. He did draw a walk, however, and continues to reach base at a high clip. His on base percentage is .408 to start play today.
As you mentioned, he drew a walk. He was 0 for 4, but it was a scrappy offense for the Astros in last night's ball game. And they struck out a ton. What was it, 15 punch outs, but they were able to rack up 11 hits and had the Brewers pitching staff on the ropes just about every inning.
A 2-out walk issued by Randy Wolf. Now, Zach Greinke started last night. He struck out 9. Jose Veras, Francisco Rodriguez, John Axford. Axford struck out the side in the 9th inning to earn the save. Greinke set a season high for strikeouts last night with 9 punch outs. And it was a good win for the Brewers, 6-5.
It wasn't the best start for Greinke here at Miller Park, but that winning streak continues here at home. It's impressive.
Now Greinke is now 13-0 as Carlos Lee sends one foul down the left field line. Now that winning streak is alive, not just for Greinke, but the Brewers when Greinke is on the mound. Zach Greinke is 13-0. The Brewers with Greinke starting, they've won 20 straight games, or check it, 18 straight games. And then if you throw in Greinke's Royals numbers, it's up to 20 in a row. Johan Santana has the major league record at 24. He set that as a member of the Minnesota Twins. Greinke, 20 consecutive victories at Miller Park.
Yeah, Johan Santana doing a lot of that right there at the top of that list at the Metrodome, a very good hitter's ballpark. That's just amazing. You figure one day that the offense wouldn't do much and he wouldn't be very sharp, but really hasn't been the case.
Well, he was able to go 6 last night, giving up 8 hits with his less than stellar stuff. He kind of fought himself, but that's a sign of a good pitcher that can go out there without his A game and still have success and help the Brewers to a victory. I think, you know, when it was all said and done, the Brewers are glad to get a win, but Ron Roenicke would have preferred the Brewers delivered that knockout punch when they had a chance, because he had to go to his late inning relief, Veras, K-Rod, and Axford, and he'd like to give those guys a breather if possible. So tonight the manager is hoping Randy Wolf can go deep into this game and the Brewers offense can help him out as Lee sends that one deep into left center field. Nyjer Morgan is at the wall. He's got it for the out. And again, that was a close call. Randy Wolf a scoreless top of the first. Coming up, and Ron Roenicke has gone back to a lineup trying to get Nyjer Morgan going specifically. Got a couple of changes in there tonight. The Piggly Wiggly batting order with Ricky Weeks, Nyjer Morgan, and Ryan Braun at the top. Then Ramirez, Hart, and Kataris. He's moved up in the batting order now, batting 6th in Roenicke's 9. And then Alex Gonzalez, Travis Ishikawa starts for Matt Gamble, and then Randy Wolf.
Bud Norris, 27 years old. He's a big guy, 6 feet, 228 pounds. And the Astros have won all 3 of his starts. He picked up his first win of the year, his last time out against the Nationals, in an 11-4 victory.
Bud Norris against Ricky Weeks to start it. And Weeks is drilled right out of the gates. And you wonder. Last night, that big collision, Norris puts one right in the back of Ricky Weeks.
I don't know if there's anything to do with that, as opposed to the last 2 times that Bud Norris has faced the Brewers, he has gotten crushed. You know, that one right on the 2, not even close. You can see Chris Snyder. This is an indication that you never know. That might have been planned. I'm not saying it was, but watch the way Snyder reacts. He's getting between Ricky and the pitcher right away. So a little suspect with that pitch.
Well, we'll see if the Brewers could take advantage. Weeks taking an extra look out at Bud Norris. Nyjer Morgan back in the lineup here tonight. And Rock, it was Ron Roenicke who said earlier he's certainly not ready to give up on Nyjer Morgan. This guy is too good of a player. He had too good of a year last year, and he was looking at the way this laid out with an off day Thursday and the left-hander on the mound tomorrow, and felt like he needed to get Morgan right back in there tonight.
He no doubt played an integral role in the Brewers' success last year, and off to a slow start, although he's hit the ball hard on many occasions with not much to show for it.
Well, he ends up advancing Weeks on the ground out. No sacrifice there, but Ricky in the scoring position now. Powerball home run count. Ryan Braun has added to it. He hit his 3rd of the year last night. It was a laser beam over the fence in left center. 3 homers, 9 RBIs for Braun. And Ryan broke loose last night. He was a triple away from the cycle in last night's game. 3 for 4.
Had a good game on Saturday against the Rockies. It's just a matter of time. I mean, 4 consecutive games without a hit for Ryan Braun. I mean, that's unheard of. We talked about that when we came on the air tonight. Sometimes you get spoiled with a guy like Braun. Doesn't get hits in a couple of games, and you wonder what's going on. Keep in mind, he was battling a bit of a flu, but still able to get in the lineup.
Well, we showed you the great numbers Braun has posted against the Houston Astros. The Astros and the Pirates. Braun feast on those 2 division opponents. And Ryan only added to it last night. He and Ramirez, they've had a lot of success against Houston in their careers. And for so many years, Ramirez playing with the Cubs. A lot of matchups with the Astros. Ricky Weeks out at second base. And Braun fouls it away. Now the Powerball home run leaderboard has been updated after Braun's home run last night. He joins Alex Gonzalez and George Kataris with 3 home runs apiece. Corey Hart still leads the club. Hart has 4. Matt Kemp still the league leader in that category with 9 home runs for the Dodgers. Braun hit 33 home runs a year ago. And that one is knocked down by Norris. Ricky Weeks is out at third base. That was a good play by Bud Norris. Weeks got caught off the bag too far, and they're able to wipe out the lead runner.
Yeah, trying to get a good jump to score, but Bud Norris fielding his position extremely well, threw the glove down and able to knock it down and got Ricky in between second and third. Ryan Braun hit that one right on the nose, and Ricky Weeks caught in no man's land.
2 outs. And here is Aramis Ramirez. Ramirez in the first inning last night drove in a run with a triple in a 1-for-4 night at the plate. Now the 2 players who were involved in that collision, Matt Gamble and Jason Castro, the Astros catcher, both out of the lineup tonight. Gamble actually went for an X-ray on his left shoulder and showed no damage. So Gamble, they're hoping, will be back in the lineup tomorrow. If not, you'll see him Friday in St. Louis.
I think that might be the plan. I mean, I don't know, but if you have a guy with a sore shoulder, give him tomorrow off. The team has an off day on Thursday before that Cardinal series. A good opportunity to get Gamble a couple of days.
That's a tough break for Gamble, who is swinging a hot bat. Had an RBI last night. Gamble was 1 for 3 last night. Drove in his 6th run of the season. He's off to a nice start for the Brewers with a lot of pressure, trying to fill the spot vacated by Prince Fielder over at first base. They'll ask if he went. Yes, he did. Ramirez is down on strikes, and the inning is over. Scoreless first inning. We head to the second.
managed to rack up the wins against. The Brewers have beaten the Astros 10 straight times, and they've done it with hitting and pitching, batting .308, scoring 6.3 runs a game, and have hit 13 home runs over those 10 games. But more impressively, they have a 2.30 team ERA. As we know the success the Brewers have had over the Pittsburgh Pirates, now the Houston Astros can really fall in that same category, B.A.
And certainly the Brewers don't want to get complacent about that. You try to take care of the teams you're supposed to beat, as the Astros are rebuilding their organization. And Telly brings up a good point. Brewers know that the Cardinals are the chief competitor in this division. I think the Cincinnati Reds are going to be a contender as well. But bottom line is you want to play well at home, doesn't matter who the opponent is.
Right.
But the Brewers have had so much success, and those questions are starting to weigh on the Astros as well.
No doubt, even though that this is an entirely different group of players that the Astros have, and they don't know anything. A lot of these guys don't know anything about that success. And 10 straight at home and road, and you can understand perhaps some of the frustration that the Astros are feeling right now.
Brian Bogusevic, and he waves at one. Randy Wolf strikes him out for the first out of the second inning. Now just up the road from Houston, in Arlington, Texas, quite a historic matchup between Yu Darvish and Hiroki Kuroda. That was Darvish's first pitch today, and then Hiroki Kuroda now pitching for the Yankees. He got his evening started. His first one was fine. The second one was deposited into the left center field bullpen by Ian Kinsler, and the Rangers have the early lead there. And this game is significant across baseball and across international waters as well, as Altuve sends Morgan deep to right center. That ball's gone.
Man, you kidding me?
So Jose Altuve with a home run into deep right center, and the Astros have the lead 1-0. Big power from Altuve.
Yeah, that's about as far as we've seen Altuve hit one. He's not a big guy, to say the least. He's a singles hitter, but he loves that first pitch. And Randy Wolf gave him one right down the middle of the plate, and that's about as far as you're going to see Altuve hit a baseball. And knocking out of here to the opposite field at that. Oh, no. Wow.
So the Astros on the board with a home run, just like last night when Lowry went deep. Anyway, back to that game in Arlington, Rock. It's only the 7th time Japanese-born pitchers have matched up against each other. And of course, you're talking about one of the most famous pitchers ever from Japan in Yu Darvish. I mean, his fame transcends sports.
Right.
And he's getting the start against the New York Yankees. This game is being televised in Japan. It's 8 o'clock in the morning over there. And
two heavyweights going at it. The Texas Rangers 13-4, and the Yankees 10-6. And you've got all the other stuff to deal with. The two Japanese starters.
Chris Snyder takes one inside. 2-2 the count. It's of particular interest to us here because we've had a good chance to get to know some of the Japanese media following Norichika Aoki. And there's been a lot of talk about this matchup once it was decided that it would happen. Now, the only reason it happened because the Yankees were involved in a rainout in Boston this past Sunday, and that moved everybody back. So Kuroda against Darvish. And there's Nori Aoki. No doubt he has some interest in that matchup.
There's a pitch right there that Randy has somewhat struggled with in his first 3 starts, that curveball. That's a very important pitch in his repertoire. He's having a tough time getting it down in the strike zone. He's been leaving it up quite a bit.
That one's high and tight, and Snyder will draw the walk. That's the second walk issued by Randy Wolf. If you're wondering about the matchups of Japanese pitchers, Kuroda and Darvish tonight. Kuroda had the last one as well, which was back in 2010. Tomaoka, former Brewer there. And Hideki Irabu as well. That was the first one, 99. That was a historic night. Hideki Irabu and Max Suzuki. So we'll bring you highlights as that comes down, and be interested to keep an eye on that game in Arlington tonight. A lot of baseball around the National League tonight. Just about everybody is either underway or underway shortly. The Rockies and the Pirates able to play tonight. They were postponed yesterday. That game's already in the 6th inning. The Rockies have a 2-1 lead. It's also the return of Jose Reyes tonight to New York. The Miami Marlins at Citi Field to take on the Mets. And, the Marlins have Josh Johnson on the mound. Cardinals are at Wrigley again. Cubs had a walk-off last night.
Yeah, good win for the Cubs. A walk-off, a single by Joe Mather in the 9th, scoring a couple of runs. You know, they were excited at Wrigley Field last night.
Haven't had a whole lot to cheer about at Wrigley. Their 5th win last night, and it came in dramatic fashion. A 2 RBI single. It came with 2 outs and 2 strikes on Joe Mather. Marwin Gonzalez, another switch hitter in this lineup, and a bouncer. Weeks makes the play, goes to second for the lead out. Hey, good play by Ricky. He knew his base runner, the catcher Snyder, and is able to get the lead out at second base.
Ricky's been fielding his position pretty well. He's been making some pretty good plays, mostly on the backhand this year, but this time angling back toward the outfield as that ball is trying to find its way into the hole. Check out the angle Ricky takes. He gets it into webbing and realizes the catcher's running, and he's able to get the lead runner. Able to grab it in the web, get up, and make the play. Nice job.
Yeah, very nice play. And now the pitcher Bud Norris coming up, and a bouncer to Weeks on the first pitch. And that's the inning. But the Astros score a home run by Altuve. It's 1-0 Astros. Menard's defense for the Astros. J.D. Martinez, Jordan Schaefer, Brian Bogusevic. Marwin Gonzalez gets to start at third. Jed Lowry and Jose Altuve up the middle. Carlos Lee at first. And Chris Snyder, the former Pirate, former Diamondback, doing the catching. Veteran catcher for Bud Norris.
Hey, ticket to Spring Madness May 21st through the 23rd are half price. But small Pepsi products and Clemens hot dogs are $1 each. Some restrictions apply. Visit brewers.com/madness.
Bottom of the second, and Corey Hart will lead off. Not many guys Chris Snyder can look up to, but Corey Hart is one of them. The 6'5" catcher and the 6'6" right fielder for the Brewers.
Now, you don't see many catchers his size anymore. You know, the Carlton Fisk, Lance Parrish size catchers.
Bill Schroeder size catchers.
I was in that category as far as height goes, but not quality of catching ability.
Well, the Astros have the big shift on once again for Hart. And to everyone's recollection, they're the first team to put a shift on like this against Corey Hart. And doing a little poll before the game today, talking to some of the Brewers players and coaches, and nobody could remember a shift like this on Corey.
Yeah, especially with that second baseman Altuve playing where the shortstop would be, up the middle.
A pop-up. Lee gives it a look in foul territory and unable to bring it in. Now, this MLB on Fox season, Fox Sports is proud to support Boys and Girls Club of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, we invite you to go onto the web at greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. CC Sabathia came out of that Boys and Girls Club program. Great program. Hart just like a tennis backhand serves it into right field for the first out.
Backslash, huh? Have I been saying it wrong all these years?
I don't think so. What have you been saying?
Slash.
No, slash words. That's kind of slang, you know, for those of you in the IT world like yourself.
I think I got to go with the backslash because there's a front slash too, right?
Yeah. Forward slash. Backslash. How's your Twitter habit? George Kataris bumped up in the order tonight. Renicky has him in the 6 hole this evening. Kataris with 8 runs batted in. Despite just 15 at-bats on the season, he is 4th on the club in RBIs.
Man, this is the part of the order that's been pretty impressive so far this year. The top of the order has struggled somewhat. And the guys 5 through 8 have done a pretty good job picking up the slack.
Big power numbers from George Kataris. Second time he's batted 6 this year. And there is out number 2 as Gonzalez takes care of the Brewer catcher. 2 outs for Alex Gonzalez.
Well, it's been a good start to the night for Bud Norris. We mentioned that he's 4-3 in 7 starts lifetime against the Brewers. He lost his last 2 starts last year, and in 10 1/3 innings allowed 11 runs. He got beat around pretty good, and imagine that there's a little bit of frustration going on with Norris with the Brewers. Brewers a 110 straight against his team, and off to a good start tonight.
Well, here is the Brewers RBI leader, Alex Gonzalez. Right now, Hart and Gonzalez with 10 runs batted in. Braun has 9, Kataris with 8. Fly ball to right. And this is going to be a quick inning for Bud Norris. 1, 2, 3. The Brewers go in order. 2 in the books. We head to the 3rd.
GMC, rough start of the night to Ricky Weeks. He gets drilled in the back by Bud Norris, who has held the Brewers hitless through 2 innings. He's allowed only the hit batter, and Jose Altuve, his first home run of the year, an opposite field shot to give the Astros a 1-0 lead.
And they're still filing in here at Miller Park. Another good crowd will be with us this evening on a Tuesday night. Jordan Schaefer, the Astros leadoff hitter, trying to bunt for a base hit to start this 3rd inning. Schaefer's a good-looking player. Traded from the Atlanta Braves to the Astros last year. He's off to a good start. He had 2 hits last night, including a double. 2 for 5.
Astros would love to see him cut down on the strikeouts, that's for sure. He and Ricky, 1 and 2 in the National League in strikeouts, both of them leadoff hitters. You don't see that much.
And they are also, as far as leadoff hitters go, in that specific category, they have each walked 10 times. They lead all leadoff hitters in the National League in walks.
And that's what it's all about, the on-base percentage. Schaefer right now at 370 to go along with a 270 batting average.
Schaefer has 2 homers, 7 RBIs. Had a grand slam Sunday against the Dodgers. Part of a 12-0 win for Houston in their last game of the series with Los Angeles. Schaefer, for the first time in his career, Sunday afternoon against Chad Billingsley. The Astros broke out against Los Angeles Sunday. And we saw a little firepower in their offense last night. Brewers had a 6-2 lead last night going into the 7th inning. And the Astros put 3 runs on the board against Jose Veras to make it a 1-run game. And hung on for dear life. K-Rod worked a scoreless 8th inning, a 1-2-3 inning, and then John Axford gave up a leadoff single, but then struck out the side after that.
Man, Astros just wouldn't go away last night. I mean, they gave Zach Greinke all he can handle through 6 innings. But the Brewers able to pick up a victory.
Houston had 13 hits last night. Out hit the Brewers 13-8. Big question tonight, the bullpen, and is Ron Renicky comfortable using Francisco Rodriguez again? If that spot should come up, as Schaefer strikes out for the first out of the 3rd inning and the 2nd strikeout for Randy Wolf. Carsoup.com email the booth question: how will baseball be affected by the Astros move to the American League next year?
It'll be a dramatic shift in the way they go about their business. All of baseball, it'll be a 15-team league, the National League and the American League, which means there'll be interleague play every day. So every team will play every other team, no matter what league you're in. I think it's going to be fun. It'll be fun. I think the Astros, going to the American League, makes a lot of sense with the number of teams in the NL Central right now, 6 of them. A little bit more balance in the divisions.
Now, the current setup occurred in 1998, and it was the Brewers who went from the American League to the National League to prevent interleague play every day of the season. That was the main idea. So you'd have a 16-team National League and a 4-team American League West, National League Central. That's what the West looks like now. Just 4 teams, while there are 6 teams in the Brewers division.
Astros are going to be putting on some air miles next year.
Yes, but it does create that territorial rivalry with the Texas Rangers. Houston has a long way to go. They're rebuilding their organization, but those two are separated by about 3 hours. They play every year in interleague anyway, and I think it'll be a good fit for both, as Lowry draws the walk, and Randy Wolf has walked a batter in each of his first 3 innings.
And just trying to be fine on the corners, and Randy, and he was doing this in his last start. If he's going to miss off the plate. The first couple of starts, he was getting a little bit too much of home plate. Got hit hard, and he decided, if I'm going to miss, I'm going to miss off the plate, and if I walk somebody, so be it.
Well, a base runner at first with 1 out, and J.D. Martinez at the plate. Martinez has the honor of the first ever home run in the brand new stadium in Miami, Marlins Park. And he's a Miami native. So that had to be a thrill for him and forever into the record books. There's a balk by Randy Wolf. And Lowry will be awarded second base.
And no surprise, it's Joe West calling the balk. The veteran umpire. No umpire has more years under their belt actively in all of baseball than Joe West. And Joe West saying that Randy did not step toward first. And there he calls the balk. There's a 45-degree angle toward the first baseline. If a pitcher goes to the home plate side of that line, it's a balk. And according to Joe West, Randy Wolf did that.
Well, you can tell that burned Randy Wolf a little bit. And a good idea by George Kataris. He saw that. He sensed that body language from Randy Wolf, so he goes out to the mound and gives him a minute. Lowry at second with 1 away. And the Astros' best hitter at the plate, J.D. Martinez. There's a strike, 3-1 on Martinez. You don't see many players come to the big leagues first or second year and get a chance to hit third in the batting order.
Yeah, we saw him last year. A good young hitter. And a very quick bat. Not a lot of movement with that front foot. He starts a little bit open. Before Randy gets rid of the baseball, he closes his stance and then doesn't move his front foot again, which ordinarily means he's going to have a pretty good sense for the strike zone and make some contact. And he's a strong kid.
Martinez made his major league debut against Milwaukee last July. Had a double in that game, as a matter of fact. Ishikawa, nice play. He'll take it himself. And there is out number 2. Ishikawa playing first base tonight for Matt Gamble. He is a slick fielding first baseman. And he makes a nice play for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, good job by Wolf. He was down 3-0, and I would imagine Martinez upset with himself. He's got a 3-1 count. He lets the fastball get back in on him too much, and hits a ground ball to first. Ordinarily, that's a count where you're thinking about getting something to pull and hit hard.
Lowry advances, 2 outs in the inning, though, and here is Carlos Lee. Travis Ishikawa making his second start of the season. Well, Carlos Lee ended up with a 3-hit game last night. Greinke retired him his first 2 at-bats, and then he strung together 3 straight singles, including the hit off John Axford in the 9th inning, and put the tying run aboard in that night. Alex Gonzalez wants it. And Randy Wolf is through the third. 1-0 Astros. The Brewers are coming up Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Tuesday night at Miller Park, Milwaukee. Ballpark looks great. Big crowd on hand to see Game 2 of this series with the Astros. And the second to last game of this homestand. 1-0 Houston on Jose Altuve home run back in the second inning. Travis Ishikawa leads off for the Brew Crew. Well, Ishikawa hoping to respond in his second start like he did in his first one earlier on this homestand. Had a 2-hit game. 2 for 12 on the season. Former Giant.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to throw a guy like Ishikawa in the lineup against a right-hander. You got Matt Gamble, who's banged up a little bit. It will certainly be interesting to see what Ryan Renicky does tomorrow with the left-hander starting for the Houston Astros. I saw Corey Hart in batting practice today with a first baseman's glove and taking some ground balls.
Corey Hart worked a great deal at first base prior to his injury that required knee surgery, that MCL tear. And then when he came back, when he was playing in the minor league side during spring training, Corey was playing first base as much as he was right field. Ishikawa strikes out. The ball gets by Snyder, and the Brewers will have a base runner. So a strikeout, but Ishikawa advances. Snyder could not control the pitch from Bud Norris.
Man, not sure if it hit the dirt, but certainly a pitch that the catcher's got to be able to handle. That's got to be a pass ball right there. Pretty good changeup from Norris to get Ishikawa, but all the way back to the screen. Brewers with a base runner.
And Snyder upset. That's a big one because now it allows Renicky to send his pitcher up there to bunt with a runner at first. Anytime you can get your starting pitcher in a bunting position at the plate, you're doing yourself a favor. Every now and then Renicky will give Randy Wolf the green light. He's a good hitter. Let's see what he does. He squares early and he drops down the bunt, and it's going to roll foul. Almost a beauty.
Hey, on Sunday, May 13th, all fans in attendance will get a Yvonne Gallardo bobblehead compliments of Robert Hack Diamonds. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com.
Wolf bunts right through it quickly. 0-2. Wolf takes his hitting very seriously, and you can tell when he doesn't have success at the plate, when he doesn't get bunts down, he gets angry. All these pitchers do, and I think that's a big part of the Brewers story. These guys feed off each other. They know advancing runners is such a big part of what they do when they start. 0-2, and Wolf bunts it foul, and down he goes. So that'll officially go as a strikeout. Second strikeout of the inning, yet the first out. Now, even when the game isn't on, you can still see all the plays and at-bats that matter most during Brewers squeeze play. It's a 30-minute condensed version of select non-televised Brewers games. And you can catch the action from the Brewers and the Astros tomorrow, 10 p.m. on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Brewers squeeze play. It's like the Cliff Notes version of Brewers baseball. One out. Here's Ricky Weeks. Slices one foul in the seats. Weeks was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Norris threw one right in the middle of his back on the first pitch he offered to Ricky Weeks.
And Bud Norris has had impeccable control ever since. I guess you're allowed to have one get away from you, right?
Well, if you're wondering, Bud Norris hit 5 batters last season in 31 starts. '27-year-old Californian Bud Norris.
Yeah, good stuff. Predominantly goes fastball, slider, but he threw a nice changeup to Ishikawa to strike him out. He'll throw some changeups to left-handers. He gets it up there in the mid-90s.
Well, Norris now in his 4th season. To be his 3rd full season. He came to the big leagues in '09. Did a nice job for the Astros in '09, and then 2010 he was in the rotation. Made 27 starts for Houston in 10. Last year was his healthiest year. Logged the most starts, the most innings pitched, and a strikeout. So Weeks is gone, and Bud Norris has a chance to tie a major league record. He has 3 strikeouts in this inning. You see Bud Norris. He had the Brewers number in his first 5 starts, but Milwaukee has solved the riddle the last 2 times against him.
Yeah, at one point he was 3-0, lifetime against the Brewers in his first 5 starts, but Brewers able to get to him in back-to-back starts. That was back in August and September of last year.
Norris has 3 strikeouts in this inning. But the first batter, Ishikawa, struck out, and the pitch got away from Snyder. So Ishikawa at first. Niger Morgan trying to get him on the move. There's a bouncer back up the middle, a base hit. So Niger Morgan with a 2-out single, and that'll get Ryan Braun a swing at Norris here in the 3rd inning.
Well, I guess it's about time that Niger's able to find a hole. Got a fastball out away from him and just slapped it right back up the middle. Norris couldn't knock it down, and that brings Ryan Braun to the plate with a couple of outs and a couple of men on. A little stress reliever right there for Niger.
That has been a battle for Morgan at the plate. Had just 1 hit on the homestand, just 1 for 14. But Renicky gives him a vote of confidence, puts him in the lineup tonight, knowing that he needs Niger Morgan, and he responds with a base hit. And here comes Braun with 2 men on and 2 away. We'll see how Bud Norris pitches to Ryan Braun. You can check Fox Tracks for location. 1-0 Houston. Jose Altuve hit a solo home run to the opposite field in the 2nd. His first home run of the year.
Going right after Ryan, that one right down the middle, down around the knees, and had a pretty good hack at it. Bud Norris is not intimidated by anybody at the plate. He's going to go right after you. You kind of like that about him, but at times I guess the Astros would just prefer having him be a little bit more careful.
Two on for Braun with 2 away, and another big swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Norris challenging him with a fastball. Well, potentially a 4 strikeout inning for Bud Norris. See what he has in mind here for Braun with 2 strikes. Ishikawa at second. Niger Morgan at first. Now stays at 1 and 2.
It's been all fastballs to Ryan. 93s and 94 mile-an-hour fastballs, and going right at him on a 1-2 pitch.
Braun has a good history against Bud Norris. He came in with a .300 batting average. 6 hits and 20 at-bats, including 2 homers against this right-hander. We'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Braun just gets a piece.
I'm not sure what that was, but whatever it was, looked like Norris hurt himself a bit. Maybe caught a nail in the seams. It was supposed to be a slider, but the reaction by Norris, yeah, it was a slider, and it wasn't a good one, but Norris, he's checking out his finger.
Yeah, perhaps a blister. Such a small thing, but if it's in the right spot on the fingers, it can cost you a ball game. Another 1-2 coming from Norris. And a swing and a miss. Bud Norris. 4 strikeouts in the 3rd inning. Now when we come back, we'll hear from Brewer skipper Ron Renneke. 1-0 Astros as we go to the 4th. As we start the 4th inning from Miller Park, 1-0 Houston. Each club with 1 hit. And how about Bud Norris tying a major league record with 4 strikeouts in an inning?
I tell you, that last slider he threw to Ryan Braun is about as good as it gets. That was a good pitch.
You don't see Braun chase like that very often. So Norris has 5 Ks. Randy Wolf has 2 strikeouts. He's issued 3 walks. Facing Brian Bogusevic. Last time up, Bogusevic struck out. He was Randy's first K. And a strike on the corner. And the Brewers' lone hit from Nyjer Morgan in this game. There's a bouncer to Weeks on the backhand. Makes a play for out number 1. We had a chance to hear from the Brewers skipper Ron Renneke, and we asked him about his lineup decision, specifically Nyjer Morgan.
Well, trying to get Nyjer going. Didn't want to sit him today with the left-hander tomorrow, and then the off day would have been 4 days in a row. So we need to get him swinging it, and it's nice we've got some guys to choose from out there that we like, all 3 of them.
Around the top of your order, some of the guys have been slow out of the gates, but you have to be pleased with the bottom half of your order. They've been doing a pretty good job.
They're swinging about well. We need to get it all the way through the lineup to get that consistent run total that we would like to have, especially with the good pitching staff. It looks like it's going to be a tight one again today. It seems like it always is.
And our thanks to Brewers manager Ron Renicky, spending a couple of minutes with us between innings. And I think what he's alluding to, and he mentioned it last night in his post-game press conference, that one of the most stressful things a manager has to deal with on a day in, day out basis is his bullpen and the decisions whether to use a guy or not. And in this case, Francisco Rodriguez, if it's a tight game, he was going to speak to Rodriguez prior to this game. But he knows what Rodriguez is going to say. He knows K-Rod's going to say he's just fine. But it's early in the season, and sometimes it's a stressful decision to push these guys if you have to in consecutive days like this.
Well, Veras too. I mean, he's worked quite a bit. I mean, he's worked, I think it's 3 out of 4 games, and that's a heavy load, as you mentioned, early in the year. Well, you're going to have to rely on some of the other guys. You got Cameron Lowe back, and he's ready to go. He can give you a couple of innings. He's been throwing the baseball pretty well. You wonder what the layoff, how that's going to affect him.
Lowe is back with the ball club after 3 days on bereavement leave, the passing of his grandfather, whom he was very close to. Altuve with another hit. Well, this guy can swing the bat. That's his second hit of the ball game. He homered in the second inning, and now a 1-out single here in the fourth.
He's not very big, but I tell you what, he swings the bat like a guy that's about 6 feet. He doesn't have a whole lot of power, though he has a home run tonight. He always seems to make contact. 5 feet 5 inches tall, 171 pounds, and in his first at bat, he was able to drive one out of here to the opposite field. Who would have thought?
It's kind of like a Dustin Pedroia scenario. You don't know if he's ever going to put up the kind of numbers that Pedroia did, but those who have seen him come up through the minor leagues, every scout's looking for a reason to write no prospect on his line because of his size. But he's done everything well, and the Astros had no choice. They brought him up last year because he was their best hitter in the minor leagues. He was the best they had, and he's come to the big leagues and swung the bat well.
And they're talking about using him as a number 3 hitter.
That's exactly right.
I mean, there a lot of talk about that when the Astros got to town yesterday.
Well, last night in the last few games he's been hitting 8th, but tonight Altuve is in the 6th spot in the order. When Jed Lowry was out with an injury to start the season, he was in the 2-hole, and he and Martinez were quite a combination, batting 2nd and 3rd, and then you add Schaefer to the mix, who was off to a fast start as the leadoff hitter. Astros were giving the opposing pitchers fits. Scoring runs hasn't been a problem for Houston. Their pitching has been a little suspect, especially as they get into the bullpen, but offensively, with a lot of names you might not recognize, they're getting the job done early in the schedule.
That's right. Just looking at the media guide on Altuve, he's 21 years old. He's going to be 22 May 6th. He signed in 2007. How old does that make him? 17?
That's right.
I mean, he's been in pro ball since he's 17 years old.
Out of Maracay, Venezuela. You can sign at the age of 16 in Latin America. That's the age you can first sign a pro contract.
And he's got a career batting average in the minor leagues of 327.
There you go.
I mean, a guy can hit. Say what you want about his height, and might not have the greatest throwing arm, but he can hit. Altuve last year in 57 games for the Astros walked 5 times. He's already walked 6 times this year.
Well, they're asking him to be more patient at the plate, and he has been, but I thought it hurt him last night. I mean, there was a spot where you could almost see the wheels turning with a young hitter. He's in a spot. Jose Veras is struggling to throw strikes. The bases are loaded. Altuve is up there in a spot where you want him to be aggressive, and yet he took 3 consecutive strikes, and Veras struck him out. That was a huge out in last night's game in the 7th inning.
Still not doing a bad job for a 21-year-old. He likes stories like that, a guy that's a little bit of an underdog and a young kid and just hits.
Well, you say it all the time, the bat plays, and it is absolutely the truth. no matter what you look like. That one's hit high in the air to left center. Braun and Morgan converge, and Morgan will make the call and the catch for out number 2. Schneider is retired. Time now for our AT&T trivia question. Prior to John Axford, who held the longest consecutive save streak in Brewers history? Axford saved number 46 in a row last night. So a good question. Axford has the franchise record now. That is 5th all time. Axford is one more save without a blown save from tying Brad Lidge, who had 47 in a row as a member of the Phillies. Started late in 07 and then ended early in 09. Well, the way these games are going on the homestand, we're likely to see John Axford tonight.
It's been a lot of one-run games, hasn't there?
Looked like the Brewers were going to blow out the Astros last night, but they had a 6-2 lead. The Astros came roaring back, had to hang on to win 6-5.
4 one-run games on this homestand.
4 out of 7.
Actually 5, I'm sorry. Anytime there's math involved, you have to question.
I knew you'd work it out, though.
Yeah, it took me a while. I got it.
You got to double check your work.
Yeah.
You're very good at that.
They say measure twice, cut once, right?
The son of a high school principal, Bill Schroeder. Very fundamentally sound with his check work.
Yeah.
Did your dad ever bring in the office, for the paddle? That would have been fun.
No, luckily I didn't have to attend the school that he was the principal
at. Okay. Well, that would have been fun.
Yeah, that would not have been fun. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to go to the school, a high school that he was the principal at, but we moved because he didn't want to deal with that either.
Oh, you being the young star of the area, up and coming athlete, Bill Schroeder.
That wasn't it. He just didn't want to have to deal with all my nonsense. Pawn it off on somebody else.
So apparently you gave him a lot to deal with in order to make that decision.
So much that he moved.
If I can't break this horse, I'll just
let somebody else deal with him.
Just buy in and move. Pack up the whole family.
Yeah, that's true too.
Marwin Gonzalez hanging tough. Gonzalez is a player that has a familiar ring in this Astros roster right now. He is a guy who has to stay on a major league roster. He was on the Chicago Cubs roster. They took him off. The Boston Red Sox picked him up in the Rule 5 draft and then traded him to Houston. Those rules still apply after a trade. So he's probably in the big leagues a little earlier than they'd like, and he's getting some time this season. Randy Wolf, another scoreless frame. equal the number 4 for Bud Norris. It started with a strikeout of Ishikawa, but the ball got past Chris Snyder. And then Wolf, trying to bunt, fouled it off for a strikeout. Ricky Weeks, a swinging strikeout. And then Ryan Braun goes down on a slider, 4 strikeouts. That's something the Brewers have done recently. 2 years ago, Manny Parra did it against the Cardinals. A 4 strikeout inning. And of course, there was a wild pitch in there. And then Giovanni Gallardo last year did it. Did it against the Cincinnati Reds on the road. So you don't see it very often, but interesting that we've had 3 in the last 3 years in games that we've done here on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
How about the production crew breaking that out with video?
Chris Withers manning the truck and all of those
Good stuff.
videotapes he carries around in his pockets. 5 strikeouts total for Norris. His other punch out came against the hitter he's facing to start this 4th inning, Aramis Ramirez. And that ended the 1st inning. Ramirez with 1 homer, 7 runs batted in desperate need of a hot streak. And Joe West says he went.
I remember it was a check swing that he rung up Ramirez on his first time up, and it looks like he went. Joe West looks like he made the right call.
2 balls and 2 strikes. That might be something to keep in mind for tomorrow. Joe West will be behind the plate.
You think Joe West's going to carry a grudge? Come on.
That's a very good memory, though. Ramirez into left center field. That is going to get down and go to the wall. A 1-hopper off the wall, and Aramis Ramirez with a 2-strike double.
And Norris gave him a fastball, and Ramirez able to hammer it. He got it up, and Ramirez able to center on it. Nice short stroke by Aramis. And he whistles that one into the gap out there in left center. That ball looked like it hooked a little bit as it got out there.
Now Ramirez safe at second, safe and secure New York Life. His 4th double, had his first triple last night. So the extra base hit starting to come now for Aramis Ramirez. The tying run is at second for Corey Hart. Last time up, Hart flew out to right field. He was fooled on a pitch, a breaking ball from Norris. Hitters count for Corey Hart. Hart arrives to the ballpark today with a slugging percentage over 600. It's currently 623. He has been an extra base hit machine so far this season.
Good cut. I just missed that one. That would have been another extra base hit. Outer half up a little bit, and Corey with a good rip at it.
Now normally a 623 slugging percentage would impress you, right?
Right.
Except that is 330 points below Matt Kemp's slugging percentage right now. Matt Kemp has a 952 slugging percentage. Fly ball right field. Lee in foul territory will make the catch for the out.
I tell you, he's played a pretty good first base. Talking about Carlos Lee. Started playing first base over there last year, and much better defensively at first than he ever was in left field. That's a nice play right there, and gets it back in quickly to keep Ramirez at second base.
He's ranging far into foul territory as well. The right fielder Brian Bogusevic was so deep on Hart. Lee goes a long way to make that catch. He started the double play, that big collision at home plate. The first part of that play was Carlos Lee's over the shoulder catch, and then a strong throw to the plate to get Gamble. And neither Gamble nor Jason Castro, the two players involved in that collision, are in the lineup tonight. Ball and no strikes on George Kataris. Grounded out to third his last time up. And that one got him in on the hands just a little bit. Ramirez is running. He thought there were 2 outs. Catch is made. Bogusevic throw to second, and there is out number 3. Boy, base running blunder. And that won't make him happy here at Miller Park. Inning is over.
Brewers, time to check in with the crew and the community. Each month, an athlete who is enrolled in the RBI program, which stands for Reviving Baseball in the Inner Cities, will be recognized by the Brewers for his dedication to academics, community involvement, leadership, reliability, and monthly performance. RBI coaches can nominate their RBI Athlete of the Month online by filling out the form at brewers.com. And, B.A., that's a pretty good program because I'm a product of the RBI program.
Nice. As Ricky Weeks makes a great catch to start this 5th inning. Yeah, Telly Hughes, one of the proud alumni from the RBI program. Guys like Jimmy Rollins and Ryan Howard.
So, look at Bednar. That's a pretty good hack, but Ricky able to perfectly time his leap and haul it in for the first out of the inning. Telly played some baseball in college.
Yes, he did.
He knows what's going on down there.
I'm still waiting for Telly's debut on the instructional. Bringing some of that college baseball knowledge.
It's been 3-4 years we've been doing that.
He's been laying very low. Very low.
I think he's got other responsibilities.
Well, one away. Back to the top of the order. Jordan Schaefer now. A base running mistake by Aramis Ramirez. In the 4th inning, the Brewers sitting there with a leadoff double, and would have had a runner at second base with 2 away, chance to get a base hit to tie the game. But Ramirez thought there were 2 outs. He took off running. Ed Cedar was screaming at the top of his lungs to get back before he realized it. He was already at third base.
Eddie might have lost his voice. I could hear him from up here. Those are the mistakes you just can't make. I mean, in close games. You got to know the game situation. There it is. That counts. Foul tip hit the glove and then popped up and he caught it. Good job, Georgie.
Cat-like reflexes behind the plate.
Yep, off the glove. It hits the mask and you do that. not going to be an out. But the glove first, and then you get it. You betcha.
There is no skill in the foul tip part of it off the glove, but there is skill to catch the carom like that, the tip drill.
On that one, there's all kinds of skill there.
Meaning, George Kataris, you can't say he should have caught the foul tip. That, I mean, it happens too fast. And the ball changes direction.
Yeah, there's no practicing that. Either catch it or you don't.
Well, for Randy Wolf, it is his third strikeout. You don't know how this inning is going to go the rest of the way, but he looks as comfortable in this inning as he has this entire game. Wolf is a body language guy. You can always tell how he's going by the way he's working on the mound, and he's pitching with some pace here.
And he's pitched much better tonight, no doubt.
And there's a strikeout. So how about Randy Wolf, his best inning yet? 3 up, 3 down, 2 Ks. Bottom of the 5th coming up.
And tonight's Town of the Game winner is the Bowery Bar and Grill in Franklin, Wisconsin, if they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours. The Bowery Bar and Grill gets 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Well, a great crowd on hand tonight to see the Brewers and the Astros, and Alex Gonzalez gives them something to cheer about. A leadoff single here in the 5th inning. There's the bottom of the order you're talking about, Rock.
Yeah, these guys have been pretty good. They really have. You know, Lucroy, Kataris, Gonzalez has been getting his hits. And now Gonzalez is able to get another leadoff base runner from Milwaukee. That's the 4th time tonight. Check that, 3rd time tonight. There's that math again.
So a man on for Ishikawa. He was the first of 4 consecutive strikeouts in an inning for Bud Norris in the 3rd inning. Well, 3 consecutive, I should say. Bud Norris struck out 4 around a Nyjer Morgan single. And interesting note here, the last Astro pitcher to record 4 strikeouts in an inning was Brad Lidge in 2004, and he did it here at Miller Park. So the Astros haven't had that trick done since the 04 season.
That's not easy to do. It's not easy to do that.
It's interesting that the Brewers had it in back-to-back years with Gallardo and Manny Parra. Here's a name for you, Rock. The last Astros starter to do it was Mike Scott, 1986. You can understand wild pitches with Mike Scott. The great split finger fastball that he threw.
And then nasty sinker too. That split finger fastball, in my mind, the toughest of all the pitches to block. Curveball's not real easy because of the big break on it, but that splitter is tough to judge.
Seeing more and more guys go away from that split finger fastball. It's very tough on the elbow. Manny Parra still throws one for the Brewers.
You just, you put your forefinger and your middle finger, you spread it way apart. Yeah, you do that. I mean, you look at that. Everything's tight. I mean, your forearm is tight. Your elbow's all tight, and that's how you hurt your arm. You got to be nice and loose when you're getting rid of the baseball. That's how you keep your arm healthy. That
splitter was in vogue. I remember Roger Craig was managing the Giants and brought that pitch in. A lot of guys used it. It changed Mike Scott's career. Philip Humber threw the perfect game the other day. Well, Mike Scott is on that list of post-Mets no-hitters. The Mets have never had a no-hitter in their franchise history, and yet Philip Humber put his name on that list of former Mets who have thrown no-hitters or perfect games.
Jack Morris had a good splitter. Bruce Sutter.
2-2 to Ishikawa. Drive into right field. Did he get it? That is well done. It's gone. Travis Ishikawa gives the Brewers the lead 2-1. Bottom of the order. Gonzalez singles. Ishikawa goes deep for the first time as a Brewer.
Well, it was an off-speed pitch, and either a splitter or a slider. Let's check it out. Slider that stayed right down the middle of the plate. And he just hammers that baseball. Line drive out of here to right. And there you go. Bottom of the order, as you talked about. Those guys have been pretty good.
Well, for Travis Ishikawa, that has got to be a big relief. That's his first major league home run since August of 2010.
For a guy that comes off the bench, you do stuff like that, that's huge.
Carlos Lee makes a nice play to retire Randy Wolf.
That is how you feel like you're a part of things when you come up with a hit like that. And Norris tried to get a slider down and in. He left it up, and Ishikawa gives the Brewers a lead.
Ishikawa has made 2 starts for the Brewers. He has had major contributions in both. Had a 2-hit game in his first start, which was last Thursday.
I mean, those things, doing that, those home runs feel good for everybody. I mean, but particularly feel good for guys that don't get much playing time. Sometimes you sit on that bench day after day, and you really don't feel like you're contributing. You get a chance, and you make the most of it.
Well, it's got to feel great. Good for Travis Ishikawa. It's been a long road back. He was a big prospect with the Giants. Was their opening day starter at first base in 2010. The Giants won the World Series, but by the time the Giants rolled into the playoffs, it was Aubrey Huff playing first base. And Ishikawa kind of been on the comeback trail since, looking for an organization to give him a shot. He was the last man to make the team. It was down to Ishikawa and Brooks Conrad coming out of spring training. Now Ishikawa can play the outfield as well. He can play the corner outfield spots. And you posed the question earlier about tomorrow with a left-hander on the mound. Gamble still banged up. There's a scenario that Ishikawa could perhaps be in the lineup. We'll see.
And I think you talk about that decision for Ron Renneke between Conrad and Ishikawa. I think it came down to defense. I mean, Brooks Conrad, he can hit, and he hit well in spring training, but really struggled defensively. If you have a guy coming in the game late, you don't want to risk making errors in the 8th and 9th inning.
And I'll never forget the words of Renneke at the end of spring training. Decisions to be made on the roster, and we were talking about the first baseman. And he was very clear. Matt Gamble is going to get most of the playing time. He's going to get every chance. But sometimes it just kind of plays out. and he liked Ishikawa on the team. He liked the way he handled himself as Ricky Weeks draws the walk. So the Brewers in business.
Hey, it may just be April, but it's time to ramp up and vote Brewers this season. 8 Brewers players are featured on the All-Star ballot. That game's in Kansas City. Right now, fans are able to vote online at Brewers.com. All fans voting 21 or more times will be entered to win Ryan Braun's Miller Park Suite for a night. Log on to Brewers.com and cast your vote now.
Here's Nyjer Morgan. Renicky inserting Morgan back into the starting lineup tonight, and he's responded with 2 hits. Ricky Weeks on his way to third. The throw from Bogasevic cut off. And Tony Plush is fighting his way back.
And good for him. Boy, he's been working hard. He's been handling this period of time where he struggled very well. Back-to-back hits for Nyjer. One to center. This one he pulls into the hole into right. Ricky hops over it and still is able to get to third base. Look at Ricky go. Doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with that ankle anymore.
Good to see that enthusiasm once again for Nyjer Morgan. And let's hope he can get himself on a hot streak. I don't know who's more satisfied with his night, Nyjer or the manager. Renicky took a lot of questions prior to the game about having Morgan back in the lineup. And almost as if it was a no-brainer, he said, look, for what he did last year and what he is, he's big for us. He's getting his at-bats. And he's responded well. Good for him.
Yeah, he got the Brewers into the NLCS last year with that base hit. Renicky is a loyal guy. I mean, he's going to stick with his guys as long as he feels like he can. And that's what he's doing with Nyjer. Well, he pushes the button with Morgan and Ishikawa today, and they've come up big.
Now Braun is up with runners at the corners. The Brewers have the lead on a Travis Ishikawa home run. Batting out of the 8th spot in the order. Took Norris deep to right. Norris struck out Braun in the 3rd inning. That was the 4th of the 4 strikeout inning. Hasn't had a K since. But Norris sitting on 5 strikeouts. He's been able to put the fastball by Braun in his matchup so far tonight. He's got a good one.
Yep, 93 with the last one up in the zone.
Braun has 5 hits on the homestand. 3 of those came last night, including his 3rd home run of the season last night. All 3 of his homers have come here at Miller Park. Inside. 2 balls and a strike on Ryan Braun. Ishikawa's 2-run homer gave the Brewers a 2-1 lead. Good speed on the bases for Braun. Weeks over at 3rd. Nyjer Morgan at 1st. So far, Morgan not indicating he wants to steal the base. Braun bounces to short. Got a chance for 2 here. 6-4-3 double play. Inning over just like that. But Travis Ishikawa, for the first time since 2010, has a major league home run. Ishikawa 2-run home run. A reminder that the NFL draft starts Thursday. Paul Limmick's 2 weeks of daily Packers preview coverage continues with a look at GM Ted Thompson's general approach. Read Paul's story and the entire series at foxsportswisconsin.com. I hadn't heard the NFL draft was coming up.
Really?
Now the NFL draft's big news.
Yeah.
Hard to get away from it.
I guess the first pick's going to be somewhat anticlimactic, huh? Yeah.
They've already made the announcement.
Done deal.
Who is it, Rock?
Andrew Luck of Stanford. Come on.
Nice. Just
What,
testing
live
you.
in a cave?
Just testing you. Even if you did, most caves these days have NFL draft coverage.
That's right. The man cave. The MLB man cave. I'm sure they have the NFL draft on it.
That's an anti-NFL zone, I think. JD Martinez leads it off for Houston. Well, the Brewers had a promising inning in the works. Had the 2-run homer by Ishikawa. Ryan Braun at the plate with 2 on. And a rare double play turned on the MVP. There's a bullet back up the middle, a base hit. JD Martinez on for the second time tonight. Man, this guy's getting on base quite often to start his season. AT&T trivia prior to Axford, who held the longest consecutive save streak in Brewers history. Axford has 46. It was Doug Jones who had the previous record of 25. Talking consecutive saves in a row. And the Brewers history with Francisco Cordero, 22 in a row in 07. Mike Fetter's on the list.
Yeah. I caught Mike.
There's a liner in the left center. Braun is over, lays out, can't get it. And that is going to cost the Brewers a run here as Martinez will score. And Carlos Lee with an RBI double.
Yeah, another first pitch from Carlos Lee, or I should say that Carlos Lee attacks. He did it his last time up with a man in scoring position and popped up. Fastball right down the middle up in the zone, and Carlos able to hammer that one into the gap. And 2 at bats. He's seen 2 pitches and he drives in the tying run.
So Martinez able to score from first base, and we are tied at 2 on the Carlos Lee run batted in. There's a bouncer to Weeks. This will advance Lee over to third and the first out. Bogusevic rolls out 4-3.
He did his job, and now that brings up the hottest of all the Astros hitters today, Altuve. Tough guy to strike out, although the Brewers, as you mentioned, were able to do it last night with the bases loaded. And the Brewers will bring their infield in.
Altuve's 2 for 2 tonight. He homered in the second. Had a 1-out single in the fourth. Randy Wolf's pitch count at 97 now. And bullpen activity for the Brewers. Take you back to the home run for Altuve. Opposite field home run at that.
And that many ballparks that Altuve is going to be able to do that, particularly his home ballpark. That's an out at home. Randy Wolf being careful with Altuve, throwing back-to-back curveballs.
The Brewers have their infield in here in the 6th inning. And that one's down and in. Another curveball from Randy Wolf. Looks like he's content to deal with Chris Snyder. Two-2 game. And a bouncing ball to short. Gonzalez looks the runner back. Altuve with a green light on 3-0. Out number 2.
5 feet 5 inches tall, and they give him a green light on 3-0 and an easy out to short. Boy, what a break that is. Oh, Randy, it looked as though he was pitching around Altuve through consecutive curveballs, 3 in a row. He missed with that one. Then on a 3-0 pitch, you know, Brad Mills letting him go and got a fastball right down the middle and an easy out. A gift out for Randy Wolf.
Now the infield can back up. 2 outs. Carlos Lee at third, representing the go-ahead run. Chris Snyder takes a ball down and in. Shift is on for Snyder. And 3 infielders on the left side.
And look at Ishikawa. He's way over in the hole. All kinds of room down that right field line. There's your first baseman. You know, the further off the line you get, the more shallow you have to play, so you're able to get to first base on a ground ball to the right side.
Any ground ball hit toward the 3 infielders, and Travis Ishikawa is in full panic mode to get to the base. He's got a long way to go to receive a throw on a ground ball. But he knows just how far he can go and still be able to get back to the bag.
Well, he knows he's got the catcher up too, so you got a little bit of extra time.
Well, there's ball 4. Kataris did a nice job to keep it close, and Carlos Lee won't challenge him. That's a walk. Snyder is aboard. First and third now. And here comes Marwin Gonzalez, the young hitter. Randy Wolf running up against the end of his pitch count tonight. It's going to be probably 6 innings for him. And he might be done right here as Ron Renicky is on his way to the mound. First and third situation here with 2 away.
He's walking out there awfully fast for bringing the hook. I think this is a chat just to see how he feels. And you got the number 8 hitter, a young hitter, and Bud Norris on deck. You figure if you're careful with Gonzalez, they're going to pinch hit for Norris. Usually Ron will take a little bit extra time, a nice slow march to the plate if he's got the hook in his hand.
Well, a quick trip for Renicky, and Randy Wolf will stay. Just getting his season started. Those pitch count numbers, as the season goes along, you can up that a little bit. But we'll see what he does here. First and third, pitcher on deck, and Marwin Gonzalez at the plate, and another great play by George Kataris saves a run.
Randy's having a tough time with that curveball. I can't remember any curveballs that he's been able to throw for a called strike or has been able to get an out on. And that's his bread and butter, that curveball. Look at George. I mean, that's beautiful. Good job. Saves a run.
That wasn't just your everyday short hop at the plate either, as Wolf drops a little off speed in there for strike 1. Marwin Gonzalez. Getting the start at third base tonight. Chris Johnson was at third last night. Another right-handed hitter. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Astros have tied it here in the 6th inning. An RBI double by Carlos Lee. He's at third base. Representing the go-ahead run, Chris Snyder over at first. Randy Wolf has issued 4 walks in this game. And now the count 2-2 on Gonzalez. Big pitch coming up for Randy Wolf. 6th inning. 1st and 3rd, 2 away, and a pop-up. Weeks and Ishikawa converge. Ricky Weeks makes the call. He's got it, and Wolf is out of it. The Astros get a run, but they strand 2, and we are tied at 2 as we go to the home 6th. It is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by the new Miller Lite Punch Top Can. It's Miller time.
Check out our Pizza Hut delivery of the game. It's the way Randy Wolf was able to attack Gonzalez. He got behind him with a curveball, really struggled with that pitch. He got to 2-2 with a couple of cut fastballs. And then on that 2-2 pitch, a 90-mile-an-hour heater up in the zone. So Randy Wolf threw 111 pitches. You figure his night's over.
And a chat with pitching coach Rick Kranitz. See if the Brewers can give him a shot at a victory if they score here in this inning. They'll have that chance as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. A big out for Randy Wolf to retire Gonzalez. Astros able to tie it in the 6th inning on the Carlos Lee double. And now it'll be Aramis Ramirez to start the bottom of the 6th. Bud Norris back on the mound, the Astros starter. And Ramirez into left field. That is down. A base hit. So Ramirez singles his 2nd hit of the ball game. Again, he leads off an inning with a hit.
Yeah, the disadvantage of playing the Brewer hitters so deep. Ramirez centers on that fastball down and in, and Martinez playing extremely deep and left to cut down the extra base hits, and because of that he's able to get his single. It's still another leadoff base runner from Milwaukee. He's got a number of them, 3 innings in a row.
And Ricky Weeks was hit by a pitch in the 1st inning. Base runner to lead off. Actually 4 in a row now, even though Ishikawa struck out in the 3rd. He reached on that pitch to the screen on that swinging strike 3.
Yeah, that's right.
So the Brewers have had their leadoff hitter aboard in every inning but the 2nd. Only one of those leadoff base runners has scored, courtesy of Ishikawa's 2-run home run last inning. 2-2 ball game. Corey Hart with Ramirez at first base. Corey Hart had successful knee surgery this spring, knocked him out for a month. And he came back, and with hardly any playing time in games, just a few minor league games and a couple of major league exhibition games, came out of the gates very hot with the bat. proving that spring training is overrated for some players. And he is still the Brewers' home run leader.
Corey, one of those guys that can be streaky. He'll get red hot and then he'll cool off for a while, and then he'll get hot again. And you'd like to stay away from having too many of those types of hitters in your lineup. But the Brewers have a lot of hitters that are streaky. I guess every hitter is like that. We're talking about streaky when you're talking about home runs.
Laid off a pretty good breaking ball from Bud Norris. That's the one pitch that Corey Hart has made significant strides, improvements on taking. He'll still swing at it occasionally, but that's a tough slider to lay off. 2-2 is the count now with Ramirez at first. And now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, let's see if Ramirez takes off on the 3-2 pitch. Chris Snyder, a very good throwing catcher. He's thrown out 4 of 7 so far this year. But Norris gets rid of it pretty quickly. I say he stays, but we'll see.
Snyder has the best caught stealing percentage among National League catchers in the early small sample size. Ramirez, by no means a base stealer, but he does have 2 steals this season. Stays put. Hart sends one deep center field. This is way back and gone. Corey Hart, a 2-run home run into the camera well. Back on top go the Brewers. 4-2 on Hart's boomer. His 5th homer of the season.
Well, all of a sudden, Bud Norris seems to have lost it. Well, he was dynamite early, but last couple innings, the Brewers are getting some pretty good hacks. Look at this 3-2 pitch right down Main Street, and Corey Hart knocks it way out of here to center.
So Corey Hart now 5 homers, 12 runs batted in. And here's George Kataris now. So that gives Randy Wolf a chance at a victory. Hart does it with 2 strikes. And you can see where this home run landed up there.
Did it get Rick up there?
No, nothing gets Rick.
Is he all right?
He's got that ozone around him.
He's been known to catch some home run balls out there.
Yes, he has. A big blast by Corey Hart. Anxious to see how far that one was. That's got to be up there in the 430, 440 range.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the 2nd home run of the night for Milwaukee. Travis Ishikawa had the first one, which was his first as a Brewer. The Brewers now with 22 home runs for the season, which leads the National League as Kataris draws the walk.
Yeah, that's a sweet swing. I'll tell you, fastball right down the middle, and that Corey Hart giving the Brewers a 2-run lead and opportunity for Randy Wolf to get a win.
There it is.
Gibby got it. Giving Rick all the credit. No, I don't think it's the one.
Yeah, they can be sneaky, but Never mind, he's had that ball in his bag for the last 6 years. No, just kidding.
The whole homestand.
I think that's probably legit, isn't it?
He probably caught it barehanded. Guys are tough out there.
There's another base hit. Gonzalez with 2 hits tonight. Well, the Brewers with 3 hits, they are roughing up. Bud Norris still nobody out.
Yeah, the month of April, the Brewers are bringing back the unique Brewers Win, You Win promotion. Every Brewers victory this month will result in $1 off a Terrace box ticket for any game of the series against the Reds, set for May 7th through the 9th. Tickets for this promotion will go on sale beginning Tuesday, May 1st at 9 a.m. So far, the Brewers have won 8 games this month, so $8 comes off the price of the ticket as of now.
Game number 8 on this homestand. And the Brewers are 4-3. They can secure a winning homestand with a victory here tonight. AT&T Uverse reverse replay the Travis Ishikawa home run. That was back in the 5th inning, a 2-run shot that gave the Brewers the lead. At the time, it was 1-0 until Ishikawa's clout to right. So 2 on, nobody out. Ishikawa not bunting.
I don't know why the Astros were expecting a bunt. That was the discussion on the mound between that pitch between Lee and Gonzalez, talking about the defense.
Astros looked like they had half of a wheel on. The shortstop Lowry had vacated his spot. He was over to cover third base, leaving a bunch of open holes in the defense.
Yeah, let him swing away, right? Well, 1-1, you never know. See how Ron Renneke wants to play it. Ishikawa's swinging the bat well, though.
Two on, nobody out. Corey Hart with a 2-run homer. The inning started with an Aramis Ramirez single, and then Hart went deep on the 2-strike pitch from Norris. Katara's hit by a pitch. Gonzalez singles. Nori Aoki waiting to hit next. He'll be batting in the pitcher's spot. Ishikawa looking for another big hit.
And again, the slider, the same pitch that Ishikawa hit out of the ballpark. That one a little bit better. Better location for Norris, but Travis able to fight it off.
It has been a battle for Bud Norris in the 6th inning. His pitch count still fairly low. He's been pretty efficient tonight, but has not retired a hitter yet in this inning. And now it's 2-2 on Ishikawa.
And the thinking for the Astros is they'd like to get Norris through this inning because he leads off the 7th. Got a lot of work to do to be able to get through this inning.
Inside, 3-2. Ishikawa's worked it full. Bud Norris frustrated on the mound.
He wanted that one, didn't he?
Brewers have generated 4 runs on 8 hits tonight. 3 of those coming in this inning. A 6-5 win last night. Offense starting to put it together a little bit. Outfielders are very deep. 3-2 pitch, and Ishikawa spoils it foul.
These are the kind of at-bats that can wear down a pitcher. Norris going to be at 93 pitches.
A 7-pitch at bat for Ishikawa. Full count pitch and another foul out of play. Oh, what a battle. Last year Ishikawa spent most of the season in AAA Fresno, Giants AAA. Signed a minor league contract with a major league invite this spring. He looked it around, surveyed the teams that had interest, wanted to be in Milwaukee. Tonight making his second start of the season, and he has cashed it in. 3-2 again. There's a swing and a miss. Ishikawa is down on strikes. Might have chased ball 4.
Yeah, it was a slider that hung up in the zone, and Norris all of a sudden having a tough time locating that pitch down. But he got away with that one. A 9-pitch at bat, and finally able to get Ishikawa, who probably knows that he swung at ball 4.
Just the first out. That's the first strikeout since the 4th strikeout inning for Bud Norris in the 3rd. Gives him 6 now. Nori Aoki will pinch hit for Randy Wolf, closing the book on the Brewers starting pitcher. Aoki is 2 for 7 as a pinch hitter, has an RBI. Most of the attention in Japan on this day in Arlington with that matchup of Yu Darvish and Hiroki Kuroda. 2-0 Rangers at last check in the 7th inning. Darvish working on a shutout. I was talking to Aoki about that matchup yesterday, and he faced Darvish last couple of years. They were not in the same league, but he says through his interpreter that Yu Darvish, a big celebrity, and there'll be people asking off work this morning in Japan to get a glimpse of Darvish and Kuroda today.
They're coming in real late.
There's a drive to right. This one's hit well. Back to the wall is Bogusevic. He's got it for the out. Kataris will tag and advance. Almost a home run for Aoki. If he pulls it just a little bit more, he's got it. But it's an out, and the second out of the inning.
Yep, a high slider once again. He's really leaving that slider up in the zone, and Aoki able to get on top of it just a little bit off the end of the bat. And I think maybe for a second he thought he might have got it, but it stayed in the ballpark.
Aoki has some power, and he's shown it before. As you see, Ricky Wheats at the plate, presented by Wendy's. Aoki comes up just a little bit short. Now 1st and 3rd with 2 away. This has a similar feeling to last night. The Brewers had a chance to put the game away. There was a 6-2 lead last night. They stranded a couple of men on base. 2 on after a 2-run homer by Hart with nobody out. And they are still out there with Ricky Weeks up. Well, you know, Ron Renicky and Rick Kranitz are begging for some breathing room here with a beat-up bullpen.
Yeah. Well, 2 guys conceivably, you know, Ron Renicky would prefer not to use. Well, Varys and K-Rod, but we'll see. A win's a win.
Cameron Lowe well rested. He'll have the 7th inning. Randy Wolf goes 6 innings, gives up 2 runs, both earned. The Brewers trying to win their 11th consecutive game against the Houston Astros, which would be the active record in the major leagues. Right now, the Brewers with 10 in a row, tied with the Detroit Tigers over the Indians with 10 in a row.
Ricky Weeks is due to lay into one here pretty soon. Taking some good hacks tonight.
Weeks has 2 home runs, but has not homered since the 9th of April. That one's hit high and deep. And this one is way gone. Ricky Weeks on cue. A 3-run home run. 7-2 Milwaukee. Well done, Bill Schroeder.
Yeah, well, you just kind of watch Ricky in the way he's been going at it, and Bud Norris has been hanging sliders. He got a fastball, outer half, and nice short stroke, and I'll tell you, that ball sounded good. And it just went way back in left center. And first home run for Ricky since May 9th against the Cubs.
Well, a pitching change as Bud Norris is out. 7-2 Brewers. Tied with the Detroit Tigers over the Indians with 10 in a row.
And Ricky Weeks is
Schroeder got into his crystal ball a little bit, and a booming home run. They measured that one, Rock, at 425 feet. It's a 3-run shot, and there's some of that distance run Ricky was looking for. Now it's 7-2 Brewers.
Yeah, Ricky, you know, he's had a rough time of it, but you know, last couple of games he's been swinging the bat better. Of course, I said May 9th in Chicago. It was April 9th against the Cubs, against Chris Volstad, but that's got to feel good for Ricky Weeks.
His 3rd homer of the season, and it gives him 6 runs batted in. The new pitcher is Fernando Rodriguez. Double switch here for the Astros as Rodriguez takes over on the mound, already making his 8th appearance. Chris Johnson is the new 3rd baseman, and he'll take over for Marwin Gonzalez, who made the final out in the top of this inning. A 5-run inning for the Brewers. They've scored all 7 of their runs in the last 2 innings. Nigel Morgan has 2 hits tonight, 2 for 3 at the plate. Bud Norris, 4 shutout innings against the Brewers. Had given up just 2 hits in those first 4 innings, but the Brewers finally figure him out. 3rd time through the batting order proved to be the charm as Nigel Morgan hit number 3 of the night. First 3-hit game of the year for Nyjer Morgan.
Yeah, Ron Reneke's been waiting for the top of his order to start getting it going. Well, tonight they have a two-seam fastball, and Morgan able to wait back and dump it into center field. So the top of his order has certainly contributed tonight.
Morgan had 5 hits in his first 16 games. 3 of them tonight. And now Ryan Braun again with a man on. Braun is hitless tonight. He's 0 for 3. He'd like to keep it going here for Milwaukee as Rodriguez misses low. The Brewers have 5 hits in the inning. 5 runs have scored. And Braun is the 9th batter of the inning.
It's kind of the way this stretch has gone for the Brewers against the Astros. I mean, they've won 10 in a row, but the Astros have played some pretty tough games. I mean, last night it could have gone either way. It was a 1-run win for Milwaukee. Bud Norris threw the ball extremely well for 4 innings, and then he lost it. The Brewers have figured out ways, not that this one's over, just figured out ways to beat the Astros. It's just one of those things. Astros and the Pirates. Richard's got 3 big innings left here tonight.
Well, Randy Wolf is out after 6. Cameron Lowe will be next. Hart hoping for another at bat of this inning. He might have a shot at it. There are 2 outs. Corey Hart hit a 2-run home run that gave the Brewers the 4-2 lead. Morgan takes off. Snyder's throw is late. A stolen base for Nyjer Morgan. That's his 2nd steal.
Man, not much of a chance for Chris Snyder. He got a big jump off of Rodriguez. Check it out. The ball was actually in the dirt, which made it even tougher.
Morgan now in scoring position. Braun in a hitter's count. 3 balls, 1 strike. And a 7-2 Milwaukee lead in the 6th. And he popped him up. Altuve wants it. And that's it for the Brewers in the 6th. What an inning, though. 5 runs in. Corey Hart with a 2-run homer. Number 5 on the year for Hart. And then Ricky Weeks, a 3-run shot. His 3rd, 7-2. Hart has a home run, number 5 on the year for Corey Hart. The Brewers lead the National League in home runs. They've hit 3 tonight. And our game summary brought to you by Toyota. The Brewers scoring all 7 of their runs in the last 2 innings. Randy Wolf a chance to win tonight and continue his mastery of the Houston Astros. And the Brewers trying to win their 11th straight against Houston. Ishikawa's 2-run shot in the 5th, and then Hart and Weeks go deep in the 6th. And welcome back Cameron Lowe. Suffered a great loss in his family. His grandfather passed away, a war hero. He's very close to him, so he left the ball club for 3 days, Rock, but he's back and anxious to get back in the flow of things.
And he said he was very appreciative for the opportunity to attend that funeral. He said it was a celebration of his grandfather's life, and Cameron felt pretty good about that, being able to be there. But he hasn't pitched since Thursday against the Dodgers. He tossed a scoreless 7th inning. He's been throwing the baseball pretty well.
Lowe did warm up in the bullpen on Friday, got all the way ready to come into a game that Renicky didn't need him that night. And for a sinker ball pitcher, I wouldn't put it past Cameron Lowe to have thrown a little bit in California when he was back home. So we'll see how he goes. He's got a nice 5-run lead to work with. This is ideal scenario for Renicky and pitching coach Rick Kranitz. As Johnson, his first at bat, he singles to center field.
Well, a lot of times when you're a sinker baller and you haven't pitched for a while, it's been, what's it, 5 days? Yeah, sometimes you feel a little bit too strong and everything flattens out, and that's exactly what happened on that last pitch. Up, didn't do much, and Chris Johnson able to hit it hard into center field.
A leadoff base runner against Lowe, back to the top of the order, and Jordan Schaefer.
And Ron Renicky would love to be able to get 2 innings out of Cameron Lowe and not feel, you know, the temptation to bring in K-Rod. He'd love to not be able to use him. And first things first, get through this inning.
Jordan Schaefer is 0 for 3. A couple of strikeouts tonight. Striking out a lot this year, but as we talked about in his first at bat, he's getting on base, getting his hits. Updated batting average 262, but an on base percentage of 360. And there's a liner to center. So a couple of hits for the Astros to start this 7th inning. Well, some disappointing news today. I don't think it was unexpected, but certainly disappointed that it was official. Chris Narveson is going to miss the entire season. He went for a second opinion on the MRI with the torn rotator cuff, and it was confirmed that he will require surgery. Ron Renicky reported earlier today that the surgery, while complicated as all surgeries are, this one expected to be relatively routine on that spectrum. And Narveson, as down as he is, understands that he has a long year of rehab ahead of him. There's another base hit, and the bases are loaded now for the Astros. So just like that, they come right back with 3 singles.
Yep, and everything by, from Cameron in this inning has been up around the belt, and that's the risk when you've got a pitcher out there that relies on that heavy sink, keeping the ball down, getting ground balls, and when he hasn't thrown much or hasn't thrown in a while, this stuff has a tendency to flatten out. Guys like Cameron Lowe seem to get better when they get tired.
Well, he could use a ground ball here. The Brewers will gladly exchange a run for 2 outs with JD Martinez at the plate. Martinez does not run well, but he is a good hitter. Well, in the short term for the Brewers, with Narveson's diagnosis official now. Marco Estrada, who filled in for Narveson Saturday night, gets the chance to join the starting rotation. Little bouncer. Gonzalez will go to first, and there's the first out. One of the things we were interested in, though, before the game tonight was the 5-man rotation now that Estrada's in it. You see the Brewers have some off days coming up. An off day Thursday, and then next Thursday. And how will Ron Roenicke play that? Does he keep the 5 men intact in the starting rotation, or does he keep them with a 4-man rotation on there every 5th day?
Well, last year when everybody was healthy, he would give every one of them an extra day. We'll see how he does it. You got Marco Estrada in that starting rotation. And Marco threw very well his first start. I would imagine, I'm just guessing, that he's going to keep everybody on their turn and have everybody just miss a day.
Now, that has been the pattern. Roenicke would not commit to that before the game. Said there's a lot of discussion going on about that. Matter of fact, he was a few minutes late coming out to address the media. Some of those meetings. There's a pop-up, foul territory. Ishikawa on the rail and makes the catch. Oh, Travis Ishikawa is having a night. That is a big out. Second out of the inning.
I tell you, Carlos Lee hadn't seen too many pitches tonight. That second pitch from Cameron Lowe, a pop out. He's one of the best at driving in that run with a man at third and less than 2, and a beautiful catch by Ishikawa. Knew exactly where he was, and that is a huge out for the Brewers.
Out number 2 in a 7-3 game. Second and third for Houston with Brian Bogasevic at the plate. Bouncer to second, and Weeks makes the play. Cameron Lowe wiggles out of a mess. Bases loaded, nobody out, gives up just 1.
Homestand as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. They are up 7-3. It's time now for our social media as we invite you to talk with us through Twitter, our handle at FS Wisconsin. And tonight we're using the question from Grant, and it's pertinent. What is the purpose of the rule that allows a batter to run to first on a swinging third strike? We saw a 4 strikeout inning along the way earlier by Bud Norris, and of course, the rule ends a strikeout like all other outs with a clean catch. That's the answer to that. And occasionally we see that like we did tonight, B.A.
Very good, Craig. And that's right. And that's what led to the 4 strikeout inning. Now the Brewers, other than that inning, have had a nice night offensively. 7 runs on 10 hits. And on a night when Ryan Braun is 0 for 4. The Brewers have been able to have a balanced attack offensively with 3 home runs in the game. Rodriguez back on the mound. Came in relief of Bud Norris last inning. And we'll start a clean inning here in the 7th. Impressive work by Cameron Lowe.
Man, he got out of it in 2 pitches, didn't he?
Ramirez pops it up. Bogusevic wants this one. And there is out number 1. Well, it's time now to take a look at our Jimmy John's high-speed delivery now that both of the starters are out. Randy Wolf at 91. Bud Norris tops out at 94. Bud Norris goes 5 2/3 today, gives up 9 hits, 7 earned runs. Wolf 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs.
And those last 2 innings really killing Bud Norris. He pitched well before that. It's kind of the way it's gone with him and against the Brewers. Yeah, but you think about Cameron Lowe, you know, bases loaded, nobody out, and in 4 pitches he got out of that inning. 4 pitches. Got a ground ball, then Carlos Lee popped up on the 2nd pitch, and then the first pitch to Bogusevic had ground out the 2nd.
You know, Gonzalez smart to take the shore out to allow the run to score. Ishikawa made a great play up against the rail. Corey Hart whistles one into left field. He hit it right through the shift. Lloyd Hart starting to heat up. Corey with 2 hits, had a 2-run homer last inning. And now a rocket of a single here in the 7th.
No, this is certainly a lineup. When they start feeling it, they all can get going at the same time. And Corey Hart certainly is capable of that. We've already seen it this year. Good swing on a pitch down and in.
Now George Kataris, 7-3 Brewers. They lead the Astros in the bottom of the 7th inning. After a 5-run, 5-hit 6th inning. One and one on Kataris. The Brewers with 3 home runs. That home run for Corey Hart was the first since April 13th when he homered in Atlanta. Ricky Weeks had a home run for the first time since April 9th. And Travis Ishikawa homered for the first time since 2010.
Oh, they were due, right?
Update the game notes. Mike Vasallo, whose Twitter handle is Mike Vasallo 13. Hashtag Mike Vasallo 13.
Yeah, he really appreciates it when you do that.
At Mike Vasallo 13.
Yeah, that's big for him, you know.
Got to watch your hashtags, man. You can't be throwing those out there just for anything. Three balls and a strike on Kataris. Runner goes, and a swing and a foul tip. Throw is late. Hart steals second. The second stolen base against Snyder.
Hey, for $18, see the Brew Crew and the Zoo. Get 1 ticket to select Brewers games, 1 2012 admission ticket to the Milwaukee County Zoo, and a t-shirt. Visit brewers.com/zoo.
First stolen base for Corey Hart puts him in scoring position.
Is that right? /?
Yeah, that's it. That's nice.
That one there.
Hang on a second, Rock. As Kataris sends one high in the air to right, and Bogusevic makes the play.
Help me out here.
I'm sorry. Now I can look at it. Yeah, that's it. /zoo.
Okay.
2 outs in the inning. Got some news in the minor leagues tonight, Rock. I know you like tapping into Single A, but Brevard County's Hiram Burgess was pitching at Clearwater tonight and lost a no-hitter in the bottom of the 9th inning, and then took a loss. So had a no-hitter going into the bottom of the 9th, and then took a loss. There's the final line. 8 innings, 1 hit, 1 run. He would be lifted from the game, and then that run would come in to score. No hitter broken up in the 9th before there was an out.
There's some good arms down in that minor league system from Milwaukee.
Gonzalez with another hit. Corey Hart around third on his way. And the throw, it's late. Hart scores. Gonzalez, an RBI.
How about the bottom of this order? My goodness. Guys have been good this year. Gonzalez got his slider and he waited back nicely and banged it right back through the middle. Shade with a pretty good throwing arm, just a little bit off the mark.
Well, that stolen base by Hart. The Brewers are able to snatch the run back. 8-3 Milwaukee on an RBI single by Gonzalez, his 3rd hit of the night. 3 for 4 for Gonzalez. And the bottom of that order, Gonzalez, Ishikawa, and the pitcher spot, producing 4 hits and 3 runs batted in. Rock asked Ron Renicky about the bottom of the order. Been fairly productive this year. And he acknowledged that, but said, I'd like to see the top start to deliver some of those base runners, and they have done that tonight. Ricky Weeks had a 3-run home run in the 6th. Just the kind of inning that the Brewers were looking for. 8-3, the Brewers with 8 runs on 12 hits. On a night when Ryan Braun is hitless, George Kataris 0 for 3, but Kataris walked and scored part of that 5-run 6th inning.
And when you talk about the bottom of the order, you're talking about 5 through 8 in my mind, and those guys have been pretty good.
Ishikawa can add to those numbers. Astros got a run in the 7th inning in the top of this frame, but the Brewers were able to counter it. Houston looked like they were going to fight their way back in just like they did last night. But Cameron Lowe was able to get out of a mess. 2-2 pitch. And Ishikawa is down on strikes. The inning is over, but another run is in. Alex Gonzalez with an RBI single. 8-3 Milwaukee.
Hi there, I'm Jeanette Calle with a look at tomorrow's weather forecast for the Astros and Brewers game in Milwaukee. Outside of Miller Park, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers. Temperatures not all that bad by first pitch at around 60 degrees with winds from the southeast.
All right, Jeanette, thank you. And our Miller Lite What's on Tap? No television tomorrow. Final game of the series with the Astros. Don't forget the Brewers squeeze play tomorrow night at 10 p.m. And then Friday, the Brewers will start series number 2 with the St. Louis Cardinals. That'll be in St. Louis. First trip to Busch Stadium. Cameron Lowe back out there. 8-3. Milwaukee leads Houston.
You see the score in Chicago again tonight, top of the 9th. Cardinals with a 2-1 lead. Same as last night.
Just like last night. And a game the Cubs would win in their last at bat last night. Is Joe Mather due to hit?
Let me check. Cardinals are up right now.
Keeping our eye on a couple of games. HOU Darvish is still on the mound. He has shut out the Yankees through 8 innings. That's a 2-0 lead for the Rangers. And Darvish trying to finish that game against the New York Yankees. Hiroki Kuroda pitched very well, but he's on the wrong end of it now.
Yeah, you limit the Texas Rangers to 2 runs, you're going to win a lot of games. These guys can hit.
Darvish has been able to pitch around 7 Yankees hits. Every time I see HOU Darvish, the more you're impressed with him. Starting to get settled in now. What a ball club the Rangers have assembled this year. A great lineup. They might have the best lineup in all of baseball.
You talk about offense. Texas and the Yankees combined 55 home runs coming into today's game. 1 and 2 in batting average. Texas at 298. The Yankees at 284. Texas Rangers have scored 100 runs already.
It's unbelievable. Lopsided losses or wins, losses for the opposition, the opponent's pitchers. Texas back-to-back World Series, back-to-back American League pennants as Altuve draws the walk. Man on in the 8th inning for Houston. HOU Darvish tonight went 8 1/3 innings. He struck out 10 Yankees. Rangers have Joe Nathan on the mound trying to close it out now for the final 2 outs. Got to see how many pitches he threw. 119. You know, the Rangers, they are they're bucking the trend, Rock, and I know you appreciate that because you're an old school kind of guy, but Mike Maddox has started to stretch the limits of these starting pitchers. Their pitch count, they're not on a 100 pitch count. They're asked to finish innings.
You think Nolan Ryan has something to do with that?
Yeah, well, for sure, right?
Really? Yep.
But it's not something you can just blindly say, as Altuve will steal second base. I mean, it's one thing to have the philosophy, right? But you can't just start laying down the law. Like, you guys are going to go this many innings. You're going to, you know, push the parameters. You have to build up to that.
Right.
And the Rangers have done that not only with their big league pitchers, but their minor league pitchers as well.
But it does start with the expectation. I mean, the organizational philosophy of saying, look, go start looking down in the bullpen when you get to 100 pitches. I mean, you're not done yet. We want to see if you can finish innings, as you mentioned, but it all starts with a general philosophy. And if the guys are able to, you know, do that and adhere to that philosophy and be successful, those are guys who are going to stick around. So you're almost forced to, you know, get that mindset when you step out on the pitching rubber.
Now the Rangers are the first major league team in the recent era to do that, and it's going to be an interesting study. I know a lot of organizations are paying close attention. Every manager would love his starting pitcher to go deep in ball games. It's that mindset, and even as recent as your playing days, you know, when a pitcher took the mound, it was his game,
right?
His game to finish.
Well, there was only 5 guys in the bullpen, you know, back in those days, not that long ago. 10-man pitching staff and a 5-man rotation. The game's changed a lot.
ground to third. Ramirez takes care of Chris Snyder for the first out.
Of course, you have to be careful. You remember that year with the Oakland Athletics where Billy Martin was managing and he had his guys finishing like 50-some games that year? I mean, maybe more than that. They all blew out, every one of them.
Yeah, and that's why it has evolved the way it has because of injuries. You know, in contrast, the New York Yankees, an American League team, they do not have, you know, the double switches. They've got the DHs. They're carrying 13 pitchers right now. That's an American League team. Travis Buck will hit for Houston. Pinch hitting for Fernando Rodriguez. Well, it's just gone final in Arlington. That much talked about matchup with Kuroda and Darvish. The Rangers win it 2-0. And Darvish strikes out 10.
Yeah, we saw him in spring training. He's the real deal. He can pitch. Live fastball and good array of breaking pitches. He throws strikes. It's okay the Brewers don't have to face him this year.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to see him next year.
They saw him in spring training.
Right. That's enough.
World Series would work.
That's right. Regular season.
Altuve out at second for Houston. 1 out in the 8th. And a bouncing ball by Buck. There is Weeks. Ishikawa finds the. No, he doesn't. He missed the base. And safe is the call. Ishikawa was searching. He was trying to hustle back.
Yeah, he straddled the bag and Ishikawa went after it. Realized he had to get back, and Ricky had to throw it before Travis got there, and you can see he's not on the bag. It's a good call by Joe West. Did everything but touch the bag. He's looking for it though.
It's going to be an error on Ishikawa. At E3, Travis Buck lifted for a pinch runner. Buck's had hamstring problems recently, so they won't take a chance with him running the bases here. And it'll be first and third with 1 away. Kyle Whelan pinch running for Houston. And there is a liner into left center, a base hit. A run will score. Altuve is in. And it is 8-4.
Johnson having a nice night. He came in mid part of the game. He's 2 for 2. So he got a breaking ball from Cameron Lowe, and they would have dumped it into center.
Well, Ron Renicky is on his way out, and that might be the end of the night. It is for Cameron Lowe. Brewers are trying to get to the finish line here without having to use K-Rod or Axford. And next up is Manny Parra. 1 out of the 8th. Pitching change at Miller Park. Bullpen. He got to the mound and was trying to prepare the mound for his outing, and something's not quite right for Manny Parra. So the umpires are calling out the grounds crew. And Manny has not thrown a warm-up pitch yet, so we'll have a little bit of a delay. 8-4 is our score. And as they get things put together on the mound, we will take a timeout.
They're having some mound issues, and Manny Parra is scheduled to take his warm-ups and pitch here, but that's not happening yet. So Jerry and I are back here. We have time to kind of address the offense here. The Brewer bats coming live, 12 hits, 8 runs scored. Nyjer Morgan, a 3-hit game, and what a game he's had, because he only had 5 singles on the season coming into this game. It was a breakout type game for Morgan and others tonight.
Boy, it just goes to show what a catalyst he is for the ball team. He always finds a way to help this ball club. Lately, he's been swinging the bat a little bit better, making a little bit better contact. Tonight, going up there, nice approach at the plate, hitting the ball, using the whole field, doing a great job.
2 players with 3-hit games. Gonzalez, the other besides Morgan, also a big home run type night as well. 3 home runs hit by Milwaukee tonight. Our Ho-Chunk text the broadcast question. Here it is. Would you consider Nyjer Morgan, Carlos Gomez, and Nori Aoki full-time players? Chris from Slinger wants to know. What do you think,
Well,
Augie?
I think they all could be. I think when you look at each of them, they all can play center field or play an outfield position. They can play every day. But in the system that they have here in Milwaukee, they need guys to play platoon coming at certain times, and that's what they use Gomez and they use Nyjer Morgan for. And it's great to have a guy like Aoki coming off the bench.
And we'll probably see them all on consecutive games in this series, with Aoki getting the start in center yesterday, Morgan today, and Gomez likely against the left-hander tomorrow. So looks like they've fixed the mound issues. Manny Parra taking his warm-ups here as we head it back upstairs now with an 8-4 Brewer lead, guys.
All right, Craig and Augie, thank you. Looking forward to Brewers Live following this game. Gomez will get the start against the lefty tomorrow. They make a good point, because for Ron Renicky said it from day one, Rocky, it's so important when you have a National League ball club to make sure your bench stays engaged, and he's been able to engage all of his players at this point, the 13 position players.
Well, it's just like it's a luxury to have a couple of guys on your bench who can play shortstop. The Brewers have a bench full of center fielders, and if you can play center, I mean, it's not just automatic, but you certainly have the skills to play the other spots. But right now, it's going to be a platoon, and it's nice to have, as Augie said, a guy like Aoki. If one of these guys is struggling, you could throw him in there.
So Manny Parra has the mound the way he wants it. Justin Scott, the director of grounds here at Miller Park, able to patch up the holes. Manny Parra's first pitch skips away from Kataris. The Brewers need to put the pedal down here on this game. It is 8-4. The Astros are threatening. They have 2 on. It's been an error in this inning. Francisco Rodriguez starting to loosen up. It's the last thing Renicky wanted to do tonight.
Well, you have to take your shots. When you think you can win a ball game, you've got to do it. You can't save him for tomorrow as much as he'd like. You know, to not use K-Rod, if he's forced to, he's going to.
2 balls, no strikes on Justin Maxwell. And that one's hit high in the air to center. Playable for Morgan, but deep enough to score a run. Both runners will tag. And the Astros are within 3.
These guys just don't go away, do they? These Astros are a scrappy bunch. A lot of young, hungry players trying to show baseball that they can get the job done. Back-to-back days that they could have folded up the tents and mailed it in, but they haven't.
Well, 2 outs now. And the batter is Jed Lowry, the switch hitter. I figure this would be Parra's last hitter if the tying run comes to the plate for the Astros. As Lowry goes into right, Corey Hart can't get it. A run is in on a base hit. And here come the Astros. It is now 8-6. And the tying run will in fact come to the plate. Houston's 3-hole hitter J.D. Martinez coming up.
Yeah, the Brewers have just had a very tough time getting to the finish line with a big lead so far in the early going this year. I mean, it always seems to be forced to bring in K-Rod and Axford, even with a comfortable lead. There's a 7-2 lead at one point. All of a sudden, you're going to call on K-Rod, and then you figure Axford's got to come in.
So Renicky will make the move. The setup man, Francisco Rodriguez, will come in as Parra is out. Surrendering 3 runs in this 8th inning. It is now 8-6, and the Astros are going to bring the tying run to the plate. And that means Ron Renicky is going to go to his setup man, Francisco Rodriguez, looking for the final out of this 8th inning. Yesterday, Rodriguez and Axford were dynamic for sure. Axford struck out the side in the 9th inning. K-Rod had a scoreless 8th.
They have 4 strikeouts between them, and K-Rod needs to get 1 out here. And then you figure that John Axford would have the 9th. Once again, back-to-back nights that this Houston Astros offense has been able to come up off the mat and make it a game.
K-Rod pitching in his 3rd consecutive game. The 11th pitch, 3 up, 3 down inning is why Reneke's confident using him tonight. J.D. Martinez steps in as the tying run for the Astros. He's been their best home run hitter this year. The Astros aren't hitting a lot of homers, but Martinez has 3 of them. Lowry the runner at first. 8-6 Brewers. And a big swing and a miss. Martinez. That's a fastball from K-Rod at 93.
Yeah, went right after him on the inside part of the plate.
K-Rod had a strikeout last night. Martinez has never had a hit against him. And K-Rod hoping to keep it that way. 0-2 the count. And that skips away, and Lowry's on the run. Throw to second. Not in time. Lowry just does beat the throw.
Risky.
It'll be a wild pitch that allows the runner to advance.
Doesn't get too far away from George. He finds it quickly, and Lowry hesitated, and he almost got thrown out. That would have been a dreadful base running mistake.
So now a base hit. The Astros pull within a run. 1-2 on J.D. Martinez. Able to check his swing, says Joe West, and it's 2-2.
Check this swing and the changeup.
K-Rod retired Martinez last night on a fly ball to the outfield. He was the final out in the 8th inning last night. Up there in another big spot. 2-2 with 2 away. And a high fly ball right field, playable for Hart. And this inning is over. But the Astros score 3. They've made it a game again. 8-6 Brewers. Miller Park. 8-6 is our score now. A lot of runs coming in the last 3.5 innings. A couple of changes for Houston. Staying in the game to play center field is Justin Maxwell. He had the sacrifice fly in the top of this inning. And Brett Myers, former starter turned closer with the Astros, is on the mound to pitch the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, he started all last year with the Houston Astros and did a pretty good job. He was an innings eater, and now he's a closer in his career. 23 out of 26 in save opportunities, 2 for 2 this year.
Carlos Gomez will lead off. He'll get an at-bat off the bench. Hitting for K-Rod, who came in, did a nice job. Faced one batter, got an out, and got the Brewers back to the dugout with a lead. And Gomez on the first pitch, deep left center. On the run, and that ball's gone! Carlos Gomez. A solo homer. The fourth home run of the night for the Brewers, and it's 9-6.
Well, slider from Brett Myers, and Gomez gets a good whack at it, and not only did he hit a home run, but I think that he broke the record for the fastest trip around the bases on a home run that left the ballpark.
Telling him to slow it down and enjoy it. He goes flying around the bases.
Running is what he enjoys, right?
He does enjoy it. He gets his one chance to run around the bases. That's his first homer of the season. Ed Cedar saying, no, it went over. It's a home run.
Go. I know.
Yeah, I know. I got it. I'm in control of the situation.
Yeah.
And Weeks drives one deep right center. That one's got a chance and caught at the wall. Maxwell covering some ground here in the last two batters. Marshfield Clinic's shining moment. Even his home run trots are fast. Gomez. Youthful enthusiasm. I know it probably doesn't go over so well in the opponent's dugout, but this guy doesn't have a malicious bone in his body. He just loves playing the game.
That was 16 Mississippi on my official clock.
Nice.
And he slowed down quite a bit once he got to Eddie.
Remember Adam Rosales?
Yeah.
He does that. Used to play for the Reds, Oakland A's. 4 home runs tonight. First time this year the Brewers have hit 4 home runs in a game. They are the National League leaders in home runs. As Nyjer Morgan's bid for a 4-hit night ends with a ground out to second. 2 outs. Here comes Ryan Braun. It's a 3-run lead right now. Save situation. Axford loosening in the bullpen. And Braun a big cut. Ryan is 0 for 4 tonight. Brewers now with 24 home runs for the season. And Braun and Ramirez have combined to hit 4 of them. Braun with 3, Ramirez with 1. No balls, 2 strikes on Braun. 2 outs, bottom of the 8th. And a chopper over to short. Lowry makes the play for the out. Inning over, but Carlos Gomez goes deep. It's a 3-run game, and the Axeman coming. Save situation for John Axford when we come back. Well, last night, John Axford, in his first save opportunity at Miller Park of the season, nailed it down with 3 strikeouts. And that was consecutive save number 46 for the Axeman. And that is the longest active streak, and it is the 5th longest streak all time. 46 in a row for Axford. One more save, and he'll tie Brad Lidge for 4th longest all time.
Well, there have been some struggles for Axford this year, but they have not come in save opportunities.
First pitch to Carlos Lee is in there for strike 1. So John Axford looking for number 47 in a row. And looking for number 4 of the season. His first 2 came on the road. 3rd save last night. There's the Columbia St. Mary's save tracker for John Axford. Save tonight, he'll join Brad Lidge for 4th all time. Jose Valverde's save streak of 51 ended on opening day this year for the Detroit Tigers. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Carlos Lee at the plate. Astros down 3 after the Gomez home run in the bottom of the 8th.
Axford starting this inning tonight exactly the way he started last night with Carlos Lee and Bogusevic. Carlos able to get a base hit to start it off, and then there was 3 consecutive strikeouts to end the game.
It was a 1-run game last night as Lee shoots one past Ricky Weeks. I think that fooled him a little bit. And a leadoff single. Another note about John Axford's consecutive save run 1 year ago today with a handlebar mustache working. That was the first of the stretch of 46 in a row, and it was against the Astros on April 24th.
Man, who would have known?
It's a lot different.
Yeah, well, hair a little bit shorter.
Handlebar mustache.
And mustache a little different.
And here's Bogusevic now. This is where the run started of 3 strikeouts for Axford last night. Houston has left their mark in this series. They have put 23 hits on the board in 2 games. 13 last night, 10 more tonight. Nigel Morgan slides over to right field. Gomez stays in to play center as the Brewers tighten up their defense. Axford deals a 1-1 in there for a strike. Ball at 2 strikes. Brewers are looking for a ground ball here. They're set up to turn 2. And a broken bat, slow roller. Gonzalez makes the play at second for the out. How about Gonzalez? As nonchalant as it gets with Lee running. Knew he had time to get the lead out.
Yep, a flip out of the glove. Ricky Weeks catches the bare hand, and Carlos Lee doesn't even bother sliding. He just kind of gives up.
Look at this.
There it is. No big deal.
He slapped it with the bare hand.
He did.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't even see that. Look at Ricky catching the bare hand. I don't need the glove for that.
Every night he does something that makes you go, wow. And with a 3-run lead, that's not exactly the safe play, but it worked. It's an out, so tip your hat. And you know he's done that before. You don't just do that for the first time.
You're right.
In a game, in a save situation. Now 1 gone. Bogusevic at first. Altuve the batter. Altuve with 2 hits tonight and a walk. He homered off Wolf in the second. But Axford trying to finish this game off here with a ground ball. Altuve was a big out last night. He struck out with the bases loaded against Jose Veras in the 7th inning. 2-2 now.
Yep, swinging a ball 3 right there. He's an aggressive hitter. He doesn't walk much, and he makes good contact. And that was out of the zone.
Randy Wolf still in a position to win this game. 2-2 with 1 away in the 9th. Full count. Another base runner. The Astros will bring the tying run to the plate. Axford working in back-to-back games. And a relatively painless inning last night. Runner goes, drive to right. Nyjer Morgan is there. Had to leap to make the catch. Almost misplayed that. Bogusevich retreats to first base.
Well, that young man's tough out, isn't he? That's a nice at bat by Jose Altuve, and he has shown pretty good opposite field power. Look at that. He ropes that one into right field, and Nyjer nearly misjudged it. Ball kept sailing on him.
Wow. Close call. But the Astros are down to their last out. 2 gone in the inning. And it's Chris Snyder standing in the way. Bogusevich takes off. They'll let him run. No stolen base for Bogusevich. Defensive indifference. Two 2-0 on Snyder. Final game of the series tomorrow. The Brewers will send Sean Markham to the hill against Jay Happ, a left-hander. And Axford trying to put him in a position for a sweep. There's a strike. 2-1 to count on Snyder. Yeah! A crowd of just shy of 39,000 on hand. See this one tonight. And a 2-1 to Snyder and a pop-up. Foul territory in the seats. 2-2 now.
And that was the one that Snyder would like to have back. Good pitch to hit. Now Axford opportunity to throw 1 of 3 different pitches. He can throw them all for strikes. And Snyder knows it.
Looking for his 47th consecutive save. 2-2, and it's high. Ball 3. Full count now to Snyder. Tying run in the on-deck circle. Downs the pinch hitter, who was the final out last night. There's a drive into left. Ryan Braun is over, and he's there. And the ball game is over. John Axford saves his 47th consecutive. Axford picks up save number 4, a 9-6 win. Randy Wolf wins for the first time this year. And the Brewers have now beaten the Houston Astros 11 straight. Much more still to come on this one. The Brewer victory. Craig Kashawn standing by. What do you have coming up, Craig?
Well, I tell you, offense, pitching, good defense tonight, all around good game. And again, the back end of the bullpen has to come in. We'll catch up with the